Working on the massive Kirby Air Riders review that's longer than my bachelor's thesis naturally requires me a lot of time spent playing it. However, just a few weeks after release, active players began noticing a significant drop-off in the player base, resulting in empty online lobbies filled with mostly CPUs. Some say the game lacks longevity or is simply too niche, but rumor has it the real reason for that drop-off is me. Whenever I play City Try online, I cannot help but to adopt a vicious playstyle, one that should land me a few years behind bars. I am the reason Air Riders got a USK 12 rating where I'm from. Killing an online community of a game is not something I usually do on purpose. Normally I'm a graceful player. I act fair. If you can get the Hydra, make the Hydra come to you. With honor, that looks dangerous. For you. And reserve my salt strictly for my meals. Oh, he wants to participate in the race, let me help him. But in Air Riders' version of City Trial, choosing an aggressive playstyle feels so incredibly rewarding, the game practically encourages it. So if you're interested in how to kill an online community, there are a few key factors to keep in mind. The choice of your character is proportional to the charges you might be facing later. In essence, there are two distinct strategies in a City Trial match: staying grounded or building for gliding to reach the platform or sky islands. For this case, you'll want to pick a rider with strong offensive capabilities, who can still reach higher areas when needed. Tier lists highlight all sorts of supposedly overpowered characters, but people are seriously sleeping on one of the best in the game. The king of rats himself, Daroach.
I could sit here and argue for like 10 minutes about this, but I'm not going to waste my time.
Because I just know that I'm right.
The question is, what makes him better than other riders? He doesn't have the highest offense, the strongest special, or the best airtime. In most games, being a jack-of-all-trades type usually places you in the middle, never excelling but never completely failing either. Daroach, however, stands out thanks to his excellent grip and turning. He can take sharp corners without losing control, which is an incredibly underrated advantage when it comes to collecting items or hunting down opponents. Everyone has those moments where they drive past an important item, legendary part, or even a machine, and with someone like Rocky, correcting your trajectory can be a nightmare. Daroach is a master of none, faker of all. What's the most common reaction from a player after getting hit or realizing he can't outrun his pursuer? He starts turning, since it makes him much harder to hit. But Daroach can turn just as easily, never allowing his prey to truly escape. Because of this, the true reason Daroach can actually turn so well is in order to immediately turn back and ride over your embarrassed victim again. My playstyle is a very committed one. If I sniff even the slightest chance for a kill, I will go for it. The death animations, the camera of shame, the satisfaction of stealing items are just too rewarding, which usually completely distracts me from building a proper gliding setup. Of course it means a lot of players are looking for revenge, but of course they never catch me. Still, with Nintendo party games, good players aren't carried by skill alone, but also by the clever use of unfair circumstances. Oh, a Hydra? Whenever a boss or any event appears that forces players together on one spot, you should always take a moment to look for offensive items like rockets or Gordos and wait for your special to charge. If you're especially lucky, you might even turn gigantic, letting you not only take down the boss, but also rampage through the city and wipe out any nearby players. And even if that doesn't happen, there are plenty of other options that many players simply do not know how to use effectively. Plasma might seem like a rather underwhelming ability at first, but if you take a moment to hold your position and fully charge it, you can fire a massive thunderbolt straight into crowded areas. Since it homes in on opponents, you're almost guaranteed to land a few hits, if not secure some kills as well. It's essentially a smaller, weaker version of the giant beam cannon, which is basically a free ticket for a revenge kill. The true goal of City Trial is to prepare for the minigame after the setup phase and improve your rank. However, my rank and the outcome of the minigame never really bothered me. Instead, I throw people off who try to avoid the Dragoon player and gliding minigame only to pick a race as well. I'm far more interested in how many lives I'm responsible for. And now that you learned all the basics of how to end an online community, it's time to put that theory into practice. Alright, it's time for some cocolores. The first thing you want to check, especially when spawning near the grass field, is the cave underneath. Each crystal contains a stat item, and one of the roach's strengths is his passive slash when something is directly in front of him. This makes breaking crystals much more convenient since you don't have to consistently spin. And if no one else is around, clearing the entire cave usually lines up with the timing of the first event. UFO is kind of a nothing event, but I ended up finding a Shadow Star, which doesn't have quite the same offensive power as the Battle Chariot, but can still cause just as many rage quits. Early Battle Chariot is cumbersome to control since you often lack the necessary stats, like speed or charge, to really build momentum. Darkstar on the other hand is much easier to handle. It also complements the Roach's turning strengths nicely and allows you to escape by gliding if your health gets low. At this point there will not be a legendary machine in this round, a player would have gotten apart by now. Offensive items are incredible in this game. Whenever you find rockets, you should immediately try to hunt someone down. The Rare confirms my suspicion that there will not be a legendary machine, so this completely changes the dynamic of the round. I can fully concentrate on powering up and hunting players down. Now, turning giant isn't as good as you might think. Your controls become very slippery and smart players can easily dodge you. But papalapap, I get kind of lucky with the fog, so they can't see me. If I remember correctly, the fog was rather useless in the original Air Ride and just an annoying field event. But in Air Riders it at least spawns a couple of boost items on the map. Currently about half of the match is already over and I'm in a very good position. I have enough speed to escape other players in case they want to take revenge. So whenever I find any offensive items, I just try to ruin the match for someone. Destruction Derby is the perfect event for my current build. Every kill you get there counts toward your total, and even if you're not prepared, it's always worthwhile going for it. There are no real downsides. But please enjoy the massacre for yourself.
3, 2, 1, start! Fighter!
We got 7 kills out of this short brawl, and since it took place in the volcano and my stats are very high, I can actually go for the platform and the Sky Island. I have no idea if the road special resets a jump, but it doesn't matter, I'm just trying to make the most out of those last seconds. Panic Paw is giving me the creeps, let's finish him off. Going by the nickname, he's probably not a CPU and likely felt safe with such a defensive machine, but fire is overpowered in this game. I could have done better. Oh, this is going to be a feast. Now, Destruction Derby can be a double-edged sword. You might get unlucky and weaken opponents, only for someone else to finish them off and collect all the points. But this is why you want such high offense. You can practically destroy machines with one hit. Rockets, Gordos or bombs are always perfect for those closed areas. I don't think I actually need my special. The offensive items require less skill and are better. And I'm dead. Maybe I shouldn't play this online anymore.